Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're watching The Big Bang Theory. This is the 4th episode of the 9th season. Hope you guys have been enjoying it so far. If you like to watch today's full episode, it is available for offering a link in the description below. Just click on it, put a password in, and enjoy. Now, a couple of episodes back, I was saying the UK literally had no hot weather this summer. Are we even getting it? And then boom, we've literally got like a 2-week heat wave. I'm sweating. It's so good. I'm going to complain a little bit more because if I'm going to complain and going to get what I want, then that is going to be amazing. And obviously, I've been complaining a little bit that, like last episode, it was supposed to be Leonard's bachelor party. I know that he's obviously married now to Penny, but the lads, they was throwing him a party. They decided to, well, kidnap him, but they didn't really kidnap him. They kidnapped Sheldon because obviously he wouldn't have come. And they went on like a road trip. Now, they were supposed to be going to Mexico, and obviously something got in the way and it didn't end up happening. And I always say that I wish we get the episodes that are proposed to us at the start, you know, instead of like the middle bits that we actually get like last one, because, you know, there's one prime example. They were supposed to go to Vegas, the girls, wasn't there? And then Amy couldn't get through the security. She ended up punching somebody, breaking their nose, didn't get that, you know. There's been multiple other episodes as well where we like go to the Star Trek convention or whatever, and then the car gets stolen. Then we're supposed to be going to the bachelor party here into Mexico, and then the car breaks down. And it's just like, you know what I mean? There's so many potential episodes where we could do this and do that, and we don't because obviously something gets in the way. They ended up hiring a van. It was, I can't remember whose it was. It was obviously like somebody famous is that they all kind of like was loving the wheel, ended up getting a flat. They tried to take it off, they couldn't. They started to try and do obviously all these scientific ways to get it off, and then he ended up just burning it accidentally and setting it on fire. So, you know, it's kind of like a weird, crazy episode, really. It was up and down, and we had quite a bit of scientific experiments kind of going to try and get the wheel off. Usually, I know it's called The Big Bang Theory and the scientists, but don't really see them do many things. But last episode we did go through a few occasions, so it was quite decent. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. I'm hoping that Sheldon carries on chasing Amy to try and win her back. You know, it's going to be really good this season to see when that actually does happen and what actually is that makes him win her back over, because I firmly do believe they're going to end up together. It's going to be really interesting, like I said, to see him chase him. Thanks for checking out. If you do enjoy it, please smash a like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, let's jump into the 4th episode of the 9th season of The Big Bang Theory.
What a wonderful day, thank you. Blue ices and a trip to the Container Store? It's like I died and went to the post-mortem neuron-induced hallucination commonly mistaken as heaven. Well, why are you taking your bins over there?
It's just where I need them. You know, she doesn't have a lot of closet space.
Well, honey, you know, now that Leonard and I are married, it kind of makes sense that we actually live together.
That's all this day was. A plan to butter me up before delivering bad news. You asked for a sip of my icy. If you'd had your own straw, I might have said yes.
We already feel bad about this.
Yeah, you know what they don't sell at the Container Store? Something large enough to contain my disappointment. Thank you for letting me come speak with you. As my relationships with Penny and Amy are currently strained, I'm turning to you for female comfort and encouragement. In addition to Amy leaving me, Leonard's moving in with Penny. Difficult not to feel abandoned.
That is true for him in this situation.
This is an opportunity. You had other roommates before Leonard. Maybe this is a chance to find someone new.
Chris Pratt's all the rage right now. I wonder how he'd feel about taking the smaller bedroom.
You know who'd be the perfect roommate?
Gandalf, but he's a smoker.
Stuart. He's been living with us for a while now. I'm sure he'd love to get us out of his hair.
Nope, couldn't be happier.
He'll think about it.
No, I won't!
It's funny because he's fully committed and moved in, and he's listening. Like, the thing is, he's the type of guy that even if he said you got to move out by tomorrow or we're going to change the locks, he'll find a way back in. Do you know what I mean? He'll start squatting him. Or, to be honest, he'll probably start claiming squatters' rights. Now, I've been living here for 6 months, so I've got every right to be here. Do you know what I mean? But interestingly, you know, I kind of understand where Sheldon's coming from. Like, the fact is, he's broke up with Amy, so obviously he's gone through a tough, rough patch, you know what I mean? And he's not been in this situation before, and obviously it's like a little hole in his heart that somebody's left him. And then Leonard as well, you know, it's like a double bang at the same time. And to be honest, I've got to hold my hands up and perfectly say though that Leonard is actually not doing anything wrong. You know, the guy's married his wife and they want to live together, and it's only because obviously he's got a friend that's, well, even though he's dead smart, he's proper needy, Sheldon, isn't he? And out of respect and love for him, they've kind of put it off for ages, you know what I mean? So I'm sure a couple of episodes back they were saying he was going to slow integrate it, you know, stay at her place one day and then after a month, maybe 2 days until he actually don't really notice it, you know what I mean? That would have been the best way personally with somebody like Sheldon, but I understand where he's coming from, that it feels like he's got 2 blows at the same time.
Seen this Archie comic? It's actually Archie versus Predator.
Hey, Stuart.
Do you guys know any musicians?
Why?
Thinking it might be cool to have live music here a few nights a week. I like all kinds of music, but my favorite genre is free.
We could play folk music. It's been around for years. It's like folk music, but with a sci-fi fantasy theme.
Sounds exactly like something I shouldn't be expected to pay for.
If we do this, we're gonna need a cool band name. Footprints on the Moon. I just got chills. So did I.
Just a
Mate,
few more
he's a good singer, Howard, though.
finished. Initial here to acknowledge that you've returned your key. As my future neighbor, I'd like you to have a key. Initial here to acknowledge you received it.
I'm proud of you. You're taking this really well.
Oh, it's not like I'm never going to see you two again. Please check here to reserve your spot at the 10-year roommate reunion. Oh, and lastly, please initial here to confirm that ownership of the living room couch is hereby transferred to me in perpetuity all throughout the universe. Except for those universes where owning a couch is forbidden by the Hive Queen, in which case all glory to the Hive Queen. Sign and date the document, and we will officially no longer be roommates. Let me help you. Leon.
Power ballad superhero crossover tale of epic proportions.
Cold in here? Cause, oh my.
Hammer and Whip. The untold story of Thor versus Indiana Jones. Oh, Indy, the skies are so windy. And a flying man with a killer board. Wait, that's no man, it's a Norse god.
Thunder clapped as Thor raised his mighty hammer. Indy rapped, that's one bad mammal drama.
Thor and Dr. Jones, Thor and Dr. Jones. One plays with lightning, the other plays with bones.
That was alright. That.
Remember the Ark of the Covenant?
Yeah.
That's how much we're gonna melt people's faces off.
To be honest, that was pretty good, wasn't it, for a start? Mate, nobody will ever, literally, ever be Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Is it Dayman? Ah, fighter of the night, man. Ah, mate, that is so good, that one. But that was a good little jam off. I actually love singing programs, to be honest. You know, when we watched Lucifer and we had the musical episode, to me that was one of the best ones. A lot of people didn't like it. I loved it. You know, growing up, I was always around that musical genre. You know, mate, I remember the Lizzie McGuire movie when he went to Rome and the Paolo and that. Do you remember? And then Hannah Montana was going in, and Drake and Josh. It wasn't like loads of songs, but obviously, you know, he was kind of in a band and he was singing, and I used to like a bit of his music growing up. And then you hit into the High School Musical genre. I was still around, I don't know, the 12, 13-year-old age, yeah, so still into it. And then obviously you had other stuff coming through the Disney Channel and tunes, and Glee was massive as well. I mean, I just love anything that's kind of musically. Like, that's why when Howard sings and stuff, like, even if it isn't the best, like, I always think, wow, like, you know what I mean? He's talented in. You know, if you think about it, he's a good actor. He's a good singer. He can play instruments, which, I mean, it's just a skill in itself. It's solid. And he does impressions. Like, he's actually really talented.
Interest in the apartment. I just need to ask you a few standard questions. Which element on the periodic table do you feel is too big for its britches?
Is that supposed to be a joke?
Looks like Argon's not the only one with an attitude problem. Would you say that you smell better, worse, or the same as you do right now? Why is there a Band-Aid on your forearm? But then I realize what I really want to ask you is just, can you just go? Now, I've got to say, if this credit report comes back good, you're the front runner.
I'm not going to be your roommate, Sheldon.
I met with 11 people and they all walked out. And that Hollywood phony Chris Pratt never tweeted me back. Years ago, I was completely disengaged from my feelings. I'd say it was a happier time, but I was disengaged from my feelings, so who can tell? You and Leonard and Penny, you all poisoned me with emotions. I was like the Tin Man, perfectly content, until that evil wizard gave him a heart. Fine, then I was like Pinocchio before that jerk Geppetto went and made him a real boy.
You know what's mad as well is Amy, like last season or the one before, was absolutely killed to be in a position of being his roommate. Honestly, she would have loved it.
So what are you thinking for dinner?
Well, it's Thai food night.
You don't live with Sheldon anymore. You can have anything you want.
Italian, German, Indian, Greek.
How about Thai food?
Oh, thank God.
We're going to dinner. You want to come?
Oh, I wish I could, but I realized I've become too emotionally vulnerable, restoring my life to the last stable version. Just because I'm living my life like it was 12 years ago doesn't mean I'm delusional. And since it is 2003, I don't know who you are. So Please exit the premises before I call the police on my stylish new flip phone.
Come on, he's a grown man in his 30s pretending to be a grown man in his 20s. He's fine. What else can you do? Move back in with him?
Of course not. I just feel bad.
Well, so do I. Have your body tell you when it's time to go to the bathroom? You know, not a schedule slipped underneath your door every morning?
I did like that he had the weather on it. And it's not like we're abandoning him. We can FaceTime him whenever we want.
I can't believe Sheldon asked you to be his roommate. Open to living with someone great, I'll give you $1,000 to take Stuart.
You really should have gone on the internet and checked how long that kind of thing lives before you got one.
I'm sorry, I just thought you might have a pasty weirdo-shaped hole in your life.
I think calling him a weirdo is a little unfair.
Hello, 2003.
Hey,
Where's he put the chair?
I know what you're doing. You're trying to get attention so we'll feel bad for you, but it's not happening. Cross the hall.
As the kids are saying today, talk to the hand.
They're not saying that.
They are in 2003.
No, they're really not.
The thing is, though, right, is Leonard actually anywhere different, if that makes sense? Like, I know he's staying in Penny's, but, like, it seems like all the social gatherings, you know, like, the places to chill, you know, game nights, whatever, eat food, is always in Sheldon's apartment. Do you know what I mean? So, like, the only thing that Sheldon's technically missing is going to bed with Leonard in the, not in the room, but, like, in the same location and waking up with Leonard in the same location. Do you know what I mean? Apart from that, he's still going to see Leonard pretty much the same as he always does. You know, they're always over there, and the only difference is, like I said, is going to bed and waking up, he's just going to be in a different room, which is across the hall.
And Dr. Jones. One runs from Loki, the other runs from stones. Runs from stones means that big boulder, but I just couldn't rhyme anything with boulder. What do you think?
I think it's very cute.
Let's be honest, you don't like it.
I didn't say that. I just like music you can dance to.
Thor and Dr. Jones. Thor and Dr. Jones. One plays with lightning, the other plays with bones.
He actually even made a good case.
The song has no groove. You can't dance to it. Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, while you're dancing, you're thinking like, darn it, whose baby is it? I just think there's room for improvement.
She didn't like it, now you don't like it.
No, I'm just evolving as a musician. You're the one who's stuck in the past.
Your girlfriend is breaking up our band. Remember when you were gonna get circumcised for Rachel Bernstein?
That had nothing to do with Rachel. It was an overreaction to a bad zipper injury.
I'm quitting the band.
Fine, I quit too.
Then get out of my house.
With pleasure.
Raj, wait.
What took you so long?
Amy's gone, and you two are married now, so it's only a matter of time before you're gone too. Then instead of dinner a couple of times a week, it'll only be a couple of times a month. Or like when Kutherpotli's weird girlfriend admits where she buried his body.
We don't need to rush into anything. Maybe instead of Leonard moving in with me, we just leave things the way they are. Sometimes we'll sleep over there, and sometimes we'll sleep over here.
What about what you said in the restaurant?
Well, it's not forever, it's just for a little while. If you want, we could think of him like he's our dog.
You can. Happy when you come home, and I'm scared of fireworks. Oh, great. Just give me 1 minute and I'll get started on a new roommate agreement.
See, I don't mind it, but it does stress me out. He always gets what he wants.
Thor's hammer miss. It was Avenger versus archaeologist. Thor said that's a nice look in 1944. Thor and Dr. Jones. Thor and Dr. Jones. One plays with lightning, the other plays with bones.
Play something we can dance to.
I'd be like, mate, you're not paying me, I'm going to play whatever I want. And to be honest, I think the chorus of that song is actually pretty decent. And they wrote it in one day, so that's big up to them as well. Now, I was saying a minute ago, I like Sheldon, I really do. But, like, it does get on my nerves a little bit that he gets everything he ever wants, honestly. It really does. Like, the fact is that, again, it makes no difference to me at all. You know, I'm just, like, kind of, like, riffing and just going off there. Like, to be honest, Leonard being in the apartment for the show, this is the same with the table, where, you know, he wanted to get a table over there where they can all sit down and they can all sit around the environment and have a proper place to have meals, and then he could go and chill and play games or whatever on the couch, you know what I mean? And Sheldon was spitting his dummy out and he was moaning until everybody gave in and he got rid of the table and they all come back and sat on the chair, do you know what I mean? And Raj still sits on the side. You know, doesn't really bother me that much that it actually happened, but in the context of the episode, it's like, mate, it stresses me out that he always wins. You know what I mean? Everything that he wants, he gets, you know, because You know, they give in because he didn't want to upset him, or he wanted his own way, or whatnot. And I said in that episode, in the context of the show, it's better for them to sit on the couch. You know, like, I'm not really gonna complain about it, because watching it, it's better than to sit there. Visually, it looks better than being over in the corner. And you know, if you look in today's episode here, yeah, he should be living with Penny. He should be. But in the context of the show, like I was saying, they're always majority in that apartment. So the fact is, if Leonard's going to be staying over there and he's not actually going to move in, it doesn't really make any difference to the show, to be honest. It's totally fine. You know what I mean? But it does do me head in, to be honest, that, like, it's only one episode and straight away they've already got a new roommate agreement that he's going to go back and he's going to live there. You know, it doesn't bother me, but it does. You know what I mean? In the context of the show, I don't care at all. But in the context of the episode, I do, that he always gets his own way. Do you know what I mean? And it's going to be interesting to see. Like I said, it should have been the slow thing. It should have been the 4 days a week stay here. Or, do you know what I mean? Well, I'm thinking of weekdays, but 1 day a week over there, then 2 days, and then 3, and then just slow gradually moving. But also, I understand, like I said, where he's coming from. 2 people feel like they're leaving him at the same time. I feel like this was a perfect opportunity to get Amy into the apartment, to be honest. I understand that they kind of broken up and stuff like that, but like I was saying, last season before, she would have absolutely dived at that opportunity. Literally, she would have died for it. She would have been loving it, and I know they're going for a breakup, and it wouldn't make sense that she moves in when they've actually broken up, but you could see in today's episode that she was kind of defending Sheldon in the conversation that she had with Bernadette, which I'm not saying that shows that she wants to be with him, but it shows that obviously she still has some sort of affection towards him, and she still has a little bit of feelings. And like I said, I feel like they're going to be together. I feel like this would have been the perfect plug, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he's going to move in with his wife and there's going to be a space there, because he's got to move in with her at some point. He can't not move in with his wife because his roommate's upset. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. And this is like the third time we've tried to do this and it's not happened. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like we have to just pull that, you know what I mean? Pull the trigger and just go for it and leave him with a unoccupied room for a little bit until he actually gets with Amy again, and then she could move in, and then it would have been good. And you've seen Friends, you know? We've seen Chandler and all that moving from one to the other, Joey, you know, upset, and you know what I mean? But they're best mates, and they're still there all of the time, and he got a new roommate, you know what I mean? We had Rachel move over, Joey and Rachel, and I don't know, do you know what I mean? Like, at some point, it's got to happen. You can't just not be with her because it upsets your roommate. To be honest, I would say that Joey and Chandler was more close with, like, better friends than Sheldon and Leonard. I mean, they're totally different, but, you know, the absolute bromance that they had, I don't think these two have a bromance, but they have their own relationship, which I feel like Sheldon heavily needs Leonard, you know what I mean? But, like, that one, and Joey was well upset, and he managed to come to terms with it and deal with it, you know? I feel like Sheldon needs to do that now. But he's back in there, so we'll just see how it goes. Okay, that's going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out the channel today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, we made a lot of references of, like, well, Chris Pratt in today's episode. It actually got me thinking, because he was saying, oh, he's not going to respond now because he's a big star. And I was thinking, like, halfway through the episode, I wonder who you would consider is a big star that's gone from a TV show into films, and, like, it's just absolutely elevated them. Now, again, I know we do quite a lot of Friend references and stuff, but Jennifer Aniston is a big one. Like, if you look at Friends, for example, you've got, obviously, R.I.P. to Matthew Perry, but then Courtney Cox, you know, she's gone into Scream. She's been in a couple of other films, and she's done her own little TV program, Cougar Town. You know, Lisa Kudrow's been in a few things as well. She's got, like, an internet show going. Matt LeBlanc, you know, he had Joey spin-off, wasn't that great. Then, obviously, he's been in other stuff as well. He's been in Top Gear in the UK as a host, and they've all done kind of well. Do you know what I mean? But then if you go over to Rachel, you know, Ross as well, actually, he's done really good. Did he win a Golden Globe or an Emmy or something? Like, he was in the... oh, what was it now? The OJ... He's not in the OJ Simpson thing, you know. He's actually done a decent for himself. But talk about, you know, Jennifer Aniston. She's been in a lot of big films. You know, she actually has been in a lot of big films. She's transitioned well from being in a massive TV show into being a big... I would say a big movie star. You know, she's been in good stuff. You know, Horrible Bosses, you know. Is It Just Go With It with Adam Sandler? You know, The Switch Up with Jason Bateman. You know, she's been in... a lot more than I'm just saying. I'm just going straight off the top of my head there. She actually has been a lot more. She's a good actress. But then obviously these guys was talking about Chris Pratt, and I was thinking, do you know what, right? Who would you say is a big, not saying a bigger celebrity, this is not what I'm not saying, but a bigger movie star You know, because Chris Pratt started Parks and Recreation, and he was in season 1 as supposed to be a recurring character for Anne as a boyfriend, and he was going to write him off after season 1. But because he actually played his role so well and people actually liked him, they kept him in, and he became obviously a main cast in Parks and Rec. And then from that, he's just elevated up. You know, he's been in Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence. He's been in Jurassic World. Like, all of them have made like $1 billion. He's been in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's a main character in the 3 films. He's been in, obviously, the Avengers. I mean, obviously, we're associating it with 2 franchises, but do you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter, you know. He has been in so many big films, even if it is the same franchise. It's like, it's pretty crazy to see what TV shows can do and elevate you into a movie. And like, they was talking about Chris Pratt there, and obviously back then he probably was just breaking through, but now he's a massive star. I mean, he's Garfield, and the voice of Garfield, he's the voice of Mario. You know what I mean? Just think of all these films. Like, it is mad, mate. Honestly, it's mad where he's come. So it's crazy what you can be lifted to. And like I was saying, talent's talent. You know, look at Howard here. Could play the piano. I think he can sing pretty decent. Does good impressions. He's also, you know, a great actor. If you look at him in this show, he's really good, really funny. He's one of the best ones. So, I mean, you know, some people are really talented, and I wish I could do one of those things that they can do. But in today's episode, you know, like I said, they tried to riff. They tried to create a band. I thought it was decent. I thought they'd done a good job, considering that Stuart wasn't paying for it. And to be honest, you could change tunes as well. They want something that you can dance to. I mean, Taylor Swift sings like slowy songs, like lovey songs, and people start putting into a beat in the background, doof, 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 and everyone starts, like, you know, some people start playing it in clubs and stuff. So I know you can change anything, you could do anything, and I feel like we should try and continue with these, doing a few bit of songs, to be honest, because Footsteps on the Moon, I actually think this is a pretty good name for a band as well. And to be honest, I'm kind of happy that Emily was in the episode. Not long, but like I said, mate, if we're supposed to care about her, we're supposed to, you know, have some support of this Raj and her relationship, you know what I mean? Then we go into, I mean, is this the first time actually that we've seen her since Raj nearly broke up with her at the end of last season? Do you know what I mean? You know, I feel like if you're supposed to get behind them, then she needs some more screen time, and she needs to mingle and interact with everyone. Can't just be with Raj. And if you've seen her in the coffee shop or whatever, well, not the coffee shop, but in the comic book store at the end, she was sat with the gang. She was sat with the you know, with the crew, and that was good to see as well. So hopefully we see more of her integrated, and obviously I'm interested to see what we do with the Sheldon and Amy. I said that at the start of the episode, and you know, obviously we've got the roommates coming back in now, so you know, there's still loads of stuff to be going on. I'm interested for it. Good start to the season. If you did enjoy today's episode, please smash like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.